Joining us now is Kim Brackett, a cattle producer from Idaho who also serves as NCBA's vice president. And Kim, from your perspective, why is NCBA's policymaking process one of its greatest aspects of the organization?
Well, I think it's because our policy development process starts and ends with our individual members. When we have proposed policy that comes forward, it originates from local, county, or state affiliates. When it's brought forward here at our summer business meeting, we discuss it at our committee level. If it's approved by the committee and our board of directors, then each of those policies are mailed to every NCBA member in the country, and they have 30 days where they can vote on each individual policy. So that right there, that real grassroots participation gives us a great advantage as an association, and I see that when I'm in Washington, D.C. We are NCBA leadership or membership or even our staff, when we're in those agency meetings or congressional offices and sharing our policy with those individuals, they know that it comes with the full weight of NCBA's membership, and that is a powerful advantage indeed.
Now, Kim, one of those issues is predator control. What's NCBA doing to help address this critical issue for producers?
You know, predators are a real challenge for us. NCBA is working on several fronts. First, we're supporting the ESA Amendments Act, which would help reform and hopefully finally fix the Broken Endangered Species Act. We're also focused on the Pet and Livestock Protection Act, which would delist the gray wolf. I think we all know the gray wolf is recovered, and it's time we follow the science and finally delist this predator. Another predator we're focused on is the grizzly bear. So we're working to oppose the introduction of the grizzly in the North Cascades ecosystem.
Now, public lands grazing is very important, especially for Western ranchers, just like your family. What is NCBA doing to make sure that there's a future for the multi-use of public lands and, of course, that opportunity for cattle grazing out on those landscapes?
You know, we are public lands permittees. I'm from Idaho. It is a big part of the beef production system in our state and throughout the West. And when I talk about public lands, I always like to share a few statistics. I think it's important to recognize that public lands ranchers in the West are managing 250 million acres of land. And what that does is it makes us the frontline defense against wildfires, against invasive species. My favorite statistic when I'm talking public lands is that grazing reduces wildfire ignition by 50%, and it also reduces the severity of those wildfires. So when we look at that, it is really impactful to the production system throughout the industry. When we look at public lands grazing maybe from an economic perspective, the Department of Interior estimates that grazing brings back a $1.5 billion direct economic impact throughout the West. They also look at that from a broader lens of ecosystem services, and the direct economic impact at that level is $8.5 billion. So it's really important to the industry as a whole. Now, what NCBA is doing on that front, we partner with the Public Lands Council, working on several different areas. With this administration, we're focusing on regulatory reform and trying to encourage this administration to fully rescind the Western Solar Plan, the BLM Public Lands Rule. And then at the same time, encouraging them to do some reform on the BLM grazing regulations and the Forest Service grazing handbook and directives.
Well, that's a lot that's getting worked on, and there's so much more that the NCBA team is doing on behalf of the nation's cattlemen and women. So a lot to take in, but a lot of good work. So thank you so much, Kim, for shedding a little bit of light on all those key issues.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me today.